The Silent Feast. In the small, quiet village of Willowbrook, there was a modest bakery run by Ethan and Claire Miller. Miller's Bakery was once the heart of the town, known for its warm bread and delicious pastries, but now it struggled against the new chain stores that had cropped up. Business had slowed to a crawl, and the Millers were desperate to keep their shop alive. One foggy night, while driving back from a failed attempt to purchase cheaper flour from a distant mill, their car hit something on the road. Startled, Ethan pulled over, and the couple rushed out, only to find a lifeless body. It was a young girl, no more than 8 years old, lying still in the dim light. Panic washed over them. Ethan wanted to report the incident, but Claire, her voice trembling, argued that it would ruin them. With their bakery already on the brink, they couldn't afford the scandal or the financial burden that would follow. Driven by fear, they made a rash decision. They wrapped the girl's body in a blanket, placed it in the trunk, and drove back to their bakery. In the bakery's dimly lit kitchen, the couple was paralyzed with fear and guilt. They intended to find a way to dispose of the body, but as morning broke, Claire, exhausted and distracted, accidentally ground some of the remains into the dough. She realized too late that the bread, now tainted with the remains, had already been baked and set out for sale. The first customer that day was Mr. Thompson, an elderly man who had been buying bread from the Millers for years. He left with a loaf, unaware of the horrifying mistake that had been made. The next day, Mr. Thompson returned with a peculiar request. "That bread from yesterday," he said with an unnerving eagerness, "was the best I've ever had. Do you have more?" Ethan and Claire stared at each other in disbelief. Realization dawned, and with it came a sickening dread. The bread had been made with part of the girl's remains. Yet, as word spread about the new recipe, more customers came, their sales skyrocketing. Unable to reconcile their guilt with the sudden influx of business, the Millers felt trapped. They told themselves it was a one-time mistake, but as days passed and their bakery flourished like never before, a dark thought crept into their minds. What if they could keep this going? They began to lure unsuspecting travelers to their bakery under the guise of hospitality, never letting them leave. The remains of these unfortunate souls were baked into the bread, which the villagers devoured, none the wiser. As their prosperity grew, so did the number of missing people in Willowbrook. The townsfolk, too enamored with the Millers' new bread, turned a blind eye to the disappearances. The bakery became a place of whispered legends, with bread said to taste out of this world. Suspicion eventually grew in the heart of an outsider, a private investigator named Samuel Gray, who had been hired to look into the disappearance of a young woman passing through the village. Samuel began to connect the dots between the missing people and the bakery's sudden success. One day, Samuel confronted Ethan and Claire, accusing them of foul play. They invited him in, offering him a fresh loaf, hoping to silence him with the same allure that had ensnared the others. But Samuel was cautious. He had heard the rumors and came prepared. When he refused to eat, the Millers realized they couldn't charm their way out of the situation. In a desperate attempt to protect their secret, they tried to overpower him, but Samuel was ready. He fought back, exposing the grisly truth behind the bakery's success. The village was horrified as the extent of the Millers' crimes came to light. Miller's Bakery was shut down, and Ethan and Claire were arrested, leaving the once thriving village bakery to crumble into darkness. The townsfolk, left to grapple with the horror of what they had unknowingly consumed, could never look at bread the same way again. The tale of the Millers and their silent feast became a dark legend, a reminder of the evil that can lurk behind even the most ordinary of facades. Feel the chills. If you enjoyed our spine-tingling tale, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more eerie adventures. Drop your thoughts and ghostly experiences in the comments below. Let's keep the mystery alive.